Time for our weekly market update, the 18th of April 2012. And helping me with this today is Peter Vaughan, the CEO of Business SA. Peter.
Good to see you, Anthony.
Now, Peter, has the market bottomed out?
I think it's at a great time for those who are cashed up, because there are a lot of people sitting on their hands. As I said, 95% of South Australians are in work, which is probably a record number over the years. They've looked at the world situation, they've looked at Australia's situation, they haven't done much, they've got money, they're sitting there, and I think the trigger is going to be with that pent-up demand when the Reserve Bank lowers interest rates, hopefully by 50 percentage points, and I think it'll do that between now and June. And when that happens, I think there's going to be a bit of a stampede to get the bargain, because you don't want to miss out, and you don't want to be sitting at a dinner party and hear all the great stories about, I sold this house and I bought this, and you saying, why didn't I do that?
Of course, Peter, if you're moving on the same market, it doesn't matter, but the reality is there's a lot of money sitting out there in pockets ready to be spent, and there's no supply of stock. If you've been out looking, there's nothing around, is there?
Well, there isn't, and you've seen that in the classified ads in the advertiser. They're shrinking, and therefore there's a lot of people potentially who are going to want properties, and as I say, there might be a mini stampede of sorts in South Australia, particularly as we move to that Reserve Bank lowering of rates, which means it's cheaper to get a mortgage.
So the trigger's the Reserve Bank dropping the rates.
Correct.
Let me just run through a couple of stats from National Bank's report, which was out this week. Just a couple of things. Victoria continues to lag, but overall conditions were weakest in this report. SA Northern Territory in the March report. Basically, they're looking at negative territory for Queensland, South Australia, Northern Territory and Victoria, with South Australia sitting in the middle pack. But overall, they're quoting national house prices are expected to grow by 1.6% by March 2014. And South Australia and Northern Territory house prices are also forecast to rise by 1.1% in that same period. So quite a comprehensive report put out by National Australia Bank. Essentially they're saying that we have got a little bit further downside, but it still all points to me that we're troughing out around about now.
Well, I think that's right, and so whether you wait before and after the Reserve Bank excuse me, doing that is really not going to be the issue in terms of house pricing. It's going to be the issue in terms of your willingness to enter into or capitalise on the market as it is currently. And for the future, as I say, you don't want to be caught behind when the prices go up, demand actually kicks in, and people start realising, I've got to put my price up, and you've missed out. So it's a key trigger point, and autumn's about as good a time as any, and with the beautiful weather we've been having, it's a great time to be out there looking.
So the moral of the story is we think in this week's report that this is as good a time as any to be out there buying. Great activity in March, big month. Everyone had a good time in March. A bit more confidence creeping back. Give it a 1/4 or 0.5% rate drop next month, and we think you should be out there buying right now. So that wraps up our week's market report.